Would you believe that these cookies came from my garden? Well, they did, kind of. I made them using a sweetmeat squash that I had cooked, pureed, and frozen in 1 cup amounts. So it's a super easy thing to do. Sweetmeat squash is an amazing sweet squash that actually is rumored to be the ingredient used in pumpkin puree that you buy canned at the stores. It works great in all sorts of pumpkin recipes, and these are pumpkin white chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to show you how to make them, and you will want to be referring back to this recipe time and time again after you've tried them once. Even my daughter, who is a skeptic and says she doesn't like pumpkin, she liked these cookies. So they're very simple to make. You just need to cream together 1/2 cup of milk, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar. Get that all creamed together till it's really nice. And then add in your 1 cup of squash puree, your 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 egg. Once that's all nicely combined, you can just go ahead and put in your dry ingredients. Now, I like to take mine and mix them all together first and then just slowly add them into my mixer. So I had 2 1/4 cups of flour, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I had 2 teaspoons of my own homemade pumpkin pie spice. So you can buy pumpkin pie spice at the store, or you can just make your own using cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and a little bit of allspice. Now, if you do that, just I use about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/8 teaspoon each of the ginger and allspice. And that works really well. So just add that in the ratios that you need. Now that the dry and the moist ingredients are all mixed together, the next thing I'm going to be adding is chocolate chips. Now this recipe calls for white chocolate chips. They are fabulous in this. Last time I made it, I didn't have enough white chocolate chips, so I just did 1/2 and 1/2 butterscotch and white chocolate chips. That was amazing. I think a nice dark chocolate chip would also work well in here. I think anything you want really would work well. The recipe calls for 2 cups, and this is going to be just over 1 cup. And I think that's actually going to be enough. I felt like there's a little bit more chocolatey chips in there than necessary. If you like a lot of chocolate chips in your recipe, then add the full 2 cups. I have about 1 1/4, 1 1/2, and I think that'll be just perfect. I'm just gonna give that a quick mix just to get that incorporated. I'm just going to make sure there's no bits of flour or anything at the bottom of the bowl here. So there it is. So the next step is just to get your large scooper and scoop this out onto cookie sheets, and then the cookies need to chill before they go into the oven. So I'm gonna kind of reset here and we'll get these scooped out onto a cookie sheet. I'm just taking my larger cookie scoop. This is probably about 2 tablespoons size, and I'm just putting the cookies out on a baking sheet. And I have a silicone mat on the sheet here, and I'm spacing them out a couple inches apart. I've already done 1 sheet and it is in my refrigerator. They need to cool for 1/2 an hour on the cookie sheets, just like this. So the recipe says It makes 18 cookies. I think I had about twice that last time I made this. But the cooking time was the same, so I'm not sure if they used a larger scoop or if it's just one of the rare cookie recipes that says you get less than you actually get out of it. I find I usually get less cookies than the recipe says. So there, I've done 24 cookies already, and I still have a fair amount in there. Probably get close to a dozen more. I'm gonna take this cookie sheet here, put it in the fridge. I'll get the other one done up, and then we'll come back in about half an hour and get them baked in the oven. Into the oven for about 13 minutes, and then you get these beautiful cookies that are delicious. They're quite loaded with chocolate chips, so I don't really think reducing the amount is a bad thing. So once they've cooled on the pan for a few minutes, I'll take them off and put them on the cooling rack for the rest of the time. But this one I'm gonna eat right now. They're so good. Can't believe this is squash in my cookie. Did you ever find a glob of like butter and brown sugar in the bottom of your mixer when you're done scooping out your cookies? It might look ugly, but man, it's tasty. So I will put a link to the recipe down below for you, so you can check it out for yourself and make these beautiful cookies. And if you're curious about how to prepare the squash to get it ready to put in the recipe, I'll also put a link down below for a video I did last year of how I prepared that sweetmeat squash like your last year and had it in the freezer so I could pull it out anytime I want to make delicious pumpkin flavored recipes from my own squash from my yard. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you try it because it really is amazing and a great way to use up that squash that you've been growing in your yard all summer. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.